Hello and welcome to my 5th grade math classroom. Today we are going to be talking about the properties of two-dimensional figures, specifically quadrilaterals. The Common Core State standard that coincides with this lesson is standard G4, which states, identify and describe commonalities and differences between types of quadrilaterals based on angle measures, side length, and the presence or absence of parallel and perpendicular lines. The academic language that we will be using throughout the lesson is perpendicular lines, parallel lines, two-dimensional figures, and quadrilaterals. A perpendicular line is two intersecting lines that have four right angles formed around the intersection point. So we can point out perpendicular lines by looking at whether an angle is 90 degrees. Parallel lines are two lines that are always the same distance apart and never touch. Two-dimensional figure is a shape that only has two dimensions, length and height, and no width. And finally, a quadrilateral is a polygon with four sides and four vertices. So every single shape that we'll be looking at today will be a quadrilateral, meaning it has four sides and four vertices, or angles. By the end of this lesson, students will be able to identify similarities and differences between quadrilaterals, and they'll be able to classify quadrilaterals based on properties such as angle measures, side lengths, and parallel and perpendicular lines. Before we even get into the bulk of this lesson, we must know what a quadrilateral is. So a quadrilateral is a figure that has four sides and four vertices, or four angles. What do we know about the following quadrilaterals? So today we are going to be looking at a trapezoid, an isosceles trapezoid, a kite, parallelogram, a rectangle, a rhombus, and a square. And we will be finding the side lengths and the measure of all of the angles of each of these figures. And then we will be drawing conclusions on the number of parallel or perpendicular lines. And once we have gathered all of the information and analyzed all of our shapes and figures, we will come up with inclusive definitions for each of these shapes based on the data that we found when measuring the angles and sides. So we must have a basic understanding of these 7 shapes here, or 7 quadrilaterals, I should say, in order to begin this lesson. So we are going to begin with a plain quadrilateral. So as we can see, this quadrilateral has 4 sides and 4 vertices like all quadrilaterals have. So to begin, we are going to measure the lengths of the sides. You can do that with this measure function. You highlight the lengths of each side and you click measure. So for the lengths of these sides, each length is different. Next, we are going to measure the angles. And again, all of the angles are different. So by looking at this figure, we can see that none of these sides are parallel or perpendicular to each other. So for this question, we can write none. Next, we are going to be looking at a trapezoid. So first, let's measure the lengths of the sides. So for this trapezoid, none of the sides are equal, and neither are any of the angles. However, we can see that side AB and side CD are parallel lines. So we can say one set of parallel lines. Next, we're going to be taking a look at an isosceles trapezoid, which is a special kind of trapezoid. So when we find the lengths of all of the sides, we can see that the sides that are in this bright pink here, side AC and BD, both have the same length. And we can also see that the bottom two angles, angle C and angle D, have the same measure, and so do the top two angles, angle A and angle B. So from this, we can conclude that isosceles trapezoids have one set of equal sides and two sets of equal angles. And we can also see that just like a regular trapezoid, it also has one set of parallel lines. Next, we're going to be taking a look at this kite. When we find the length of the sides of this kite, we can see that side BA and side AC, so the two in bright pink here, have the same length, and also side BD and side DC also have the same length. So from that, we can say that the two sides next to each other, or adjacent sides, are equal. And when we find the measure of the angles, angle B and angle C, so the ones opposite each other, have the same measure. And from looking at the drawing here, we can see that there are no parallel or perpendicular lines. Next, we're going to take a look at a parallelogram. So first, we're going to take the length of the sides, and we can see that opposite sides have the same length. They have equal lengths. And when we take a look at the measures, again, the measures of the angles, opposite angles, so angle A and angle D, A and D, and B and C have equal measures of those two angles. We can also see that it has two sets of parallel lines. So segment AB and CD are parallel, and segment BD and CA are also parallel. So we can say two sets of parallel lines for that question right there. Moving on to our rhombus here. A rhombus has four equal sides. So all sides of a rhombus are equal. And then, just like one of our other quadrilaterals, opposite angles are equal. So angle A and angle D that are across from each other here are equal angles, and angle C and angle B are also equal angles. So from this, we can also see that it also, just like a parallelogram, has two sets of parallel lines. And so far, with all of our quadrilaterals, we can see that none of them have perpendicular lines because none of the angles have been 90 degrees. Moving on to our second last quadrilateral here, we have a rectangle. So when we take the measures of this length of the sides of a rectangle, we can see that the measure of AB and the measure of CD, so the blue here, and the measure of CA and BD, the pink lines, are equal to each other. So opposite sides of a rectangle are equal. And when we look at the angle measurements, all of the angles come up to a measure of 90 degrees. So from this, we can see that all of these lines are perpendicular lines. So a rectangle has two sets of parallel lines, and all lines are perpendicular. And finally, our last quadrilateral for this lesson is a square. So when we take a look at the length of the sides, all sides of a square are equal to one another. And when we look at the angle measurements, all angles are also equal to each other, but they're specifically a measure of 90 degrees always. So similar to our rectangle, we have two sets of parallel lines, and all lines are perpendicular, meaning that each vertices is made up of two perpendicular lines. So each angle is made up of two perpendicular lines. Based on all of the properties that we looked at, number of sides that are equal, number of angles that are equal, number of parallel lines, and number of perpendicular lines that each quadrilateral possesses, we can come up with new, more inclusive definitions that will allow us to classify these quadrilaterals underneath one another. So we know that a quadrilateral is a figure with 4 sides and 4 vertices, and that is always how it's going to be. So based on our findings, we can say that a trapezoid we found has no equal sides and no equal angles, but it does have 2 parallel sides. So it's a quadrilateral with 2 parallel sides. An isosceles trapezoid we found is a quadrilateral with 2 parallel sides and 2 equal sides as well. A kite, we can say, is a quadrilateral with 2 sets of adjacent equal sides. A parallelogram is a quadrilateral with equal and parallel opposite sides. A rectangle is a quadrilateral with 90-degree angles, and the opposite sides are always equal. A rhombus, we can say, is a quadrilateral with 4 equal sides and opposite sides are parallel. And a square, finally, is a quadrilateral with 4 90-degree angles and 4 equal sides. So all of these definitions are inclusive in that each one tells the bare minimum properties that each type of quadrilateral must have. So every trapezoid must have 2 parallel sides. Every parallelogram must have equal and parallel opposite sides. So these will be helpful in the next question that will build upon these definitions. So now that we came up with those more inclusive definitions, we can classify these quadrilaterals based on a hierarchy model that looks something like this. So a hierarchy model shows us how each quadrilateral can be classified. So a square can be classified as a rectangle and a rhombus. A rectangle can be classified as an isosceles trapezoid and a parallelogram. A rhombus can be classified as a parallelogram, and so on and so forth. So based on this model, can any other quadrilateral besides square be classified as a square? And the answer is no, because a square has very specific requirements, such as 90-degree angles, all 4 of them, and all equal sides. So a square can be considered any of these, but nothing else can be considered a square. How about a trapezoid and a parallelogram? So for a trapezoid can only be considered, isosceles trapezoids and parallelograms can both be considered a trapezoid. And in the same way for a parallelogram, rectangles, squares, and rhombuses can all be considered a parallelogram as well, based on these inclusive definitions.